I'm Shannon.
And I'm Lisa.
And KK's here too. And you're listening to Blacktivities,
a celebration of all things Black.
Black culture, Black history,
Black perspectives, and Black panache.
Celebrating our Blackness doesn't mean exclusion.
Everybody's invited, but you got to come in and have a seat.
So let the Blacktivities begin. Welcome to Blacktivities. I'm Shannon, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mona Lisa the Poet and KK. Ladies, we've done it again. We made it through season 5 of Blacktivities. I've been hella busy this summer. I was off, but I really wasn't off except for like a week. I need money so I can hire a staff because it's a lot. Today's topic is fitting for a show called Blacktivities, though, because we're talking about Black excellence. People say that all the time. It's often a hashtag, but are we on the same page about what that actually means? And is it a good thing, or is it something we need to get rid of as Black people? We have a guest today who's going to chat with us about that. But before we introduce her, I got to remind the people about this pop-up shop because it's about to be closed real soon. If you're trying to get your Blacktivity, then you need to do it today because you're going to run out of time. If you bought a tea or a mug, take a picture of you with that item and tag us so that we can repost it because I love to do that kind of stuff. The link to the shop is in our show notes. Okay, Lisa, why don't you introduce our guest today?
Okay, so guys, this is such a treat. Today's special guest is, how can I say this, a phenomenal woman. And I personally feel like she is kind of like a spine to an amazing organization that has brought great opportunities for my hometown, Chattanooga, Tennessee. The Chattanooga Business Elite is a group of creatives, advocates, business owners, leaders that work together and connect to inform like-minded individuals in Chattanooga, Tennessee and surrounding areas. Their positive influences provide business invitations, youth development, and most importantly, community engagement, which I feel like is so empowering. A perfect example of that is the Black Excellence Awards held annually. So if y'all could please give a round of applause to Shay McCowan.
Thank you. That was sweet. I need to remember those words.
So if we can really quick, let's do some really, really big facts, and then we're going to jump into the discussion.
Okay.
All
right. I guess here are the
big facts.
I'm sorry, I laugh every time you do that.
So I want to start big facts by quoting what dictionary.com says about Black excellence. I didn't actually think that the term would be in the dictionary, but apparently it is. So it says the term Black excellence refers to a high level of achievement, success, or ability demonstrated by an individual Black person or by Black people in general. The term is often used to highlight and celebrate specific examples of such achievements and abilities, especially as the hashtag Black excellence. In some cases, the term is used to refer to an aspiration or goal to be achieved, or to a mindset used in the pursuit of such success. The term Black excellence is sometimes used in discussions about the disproportionately high levels of work that Black people must do and the abilities they must have to achieve the same success as white people as a result of the anti-Black racism and oppression of white supremacy. Relatedly, the concept is sometimes discussed in critical contexts that point out that people who are considered to exhibit Black excellence often face unreasonably high expectations and standards, especially when they are held up as representative of the entire Black community. In this way, anything less than excellence or perfection may be viewed as failure, creating an impossible standard. Such pressure is often discussed as being detrimental to mental health and overall well-being.
We can always count on you to just break it all the way down. So with the Black excellence, I feel like this is with the facts. If you could, Miss Shay, provide us with your views on Black excellence, and then we want to jump into what you have with the business elite. If you can just talk about how all of that started out as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a definition like Webster or wherever you but Black excellence is it's like it's different for me. Raised in Ray County. I don't even know if y'all know where Ray County is at, but a little small country town. I was raised on a farm. I had beef cows, raised beef cows. I went to school with a predominantly white school. My other Black people that was in the school were family. So like you couldn't date nobody there because everybody was cousins or whatever. I think in my class, we had 2 Black girls which was my cousin, and 2 Black boys in the whole entire class or whatever. So I don't think that for me, as far as Black, the only thing I knew Black was my family and how Black was portrayed on TV. I think as a young Black woman coming into Chattanooga, Tennessee, which to me, when we came to Chattanooga, Tennessee, let me tell y'all, we dressed up to come to Chattanooga. You know how Chattanooga dressed up to come to Atlanta? Like it was a thing to come to Chattanooga, and it was like, we're going to the city, we're going to the mall, we got to dress up, we got to put it, do all this kind of stuff. But when we would see Black people from Chattanooga, we were scared because we just thought that, oh God, they're like Menace to Society or as Boys in the Hood or, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't realize that we had developed a stereotype and prejudice inside of our own people. And I had no clue that was, because to me, Black people, the only Black people who were successful was, of course, they was in my family, and they was preachers and teachers. That was the only way I saw Black success in that small town. So moving to Chattanooga in 1998 was big for me. Like, I don't know how I would have made it going from Ray County to TSU. That would have been too much for me. So, I'm giving y'all that foundation to understand what Black excellence is to me personally. Because back then, again, Black excellence for me was preachers, teachers, and just going to school. If you went to school and you got a job, that was excellent. That was awesome. That's what we worked for. That was success. That was, everything. And so when I got to UTC and I saw Black, here it was. I didn't think you were supposed to be sagging. I didn't think you were supposed to be loud. I didn't think you were supposed to be all this. But these were educated Black people that was everything that I thought you were not supposed to be to stay away from being Black type. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had this whole viewing of Black and didn't realize that I had the same views as white people that I didn't, because we would call out racism at Ray County and all that kind of stuff. But I had those same views when it came to my own people. So that let me know that I understood the white person who would say, but my friend is Black. You think that, because for me, I'm Black. How can I be prejudiced? I'm Black. But it's actually a thing. It can happen. So when I came to UTC and I started befriending all these people from Memphis and all these different cities, they were doctors, lawyers, engineers, all these different things. I saw Black in another way. And it made me appreciate who I was as a Black woman to see that we had no limitations on us. Success and excellence looks different to all 4 of us. You know what I mean? There's a difference on how we look at it, period. And I think for me, UTC opened my eyes to see Black excellence in different ways than what I was used to, what I thought Black excellence was. And for me, I thought that was something that needed to be demonstrated and seen, because, when President Obama got in, it took limitations off of kids on what they believed that they could do. And so I feel like when you got a room full of people being successful in their passion, and you can show kids that, look, anything that God puts into your heart, you can be successful at it, and you can make money off of it. Even if it's the arts, God can do things with you in the arts. He can do things with you in music. He can do things it doesn't matter. He said to keep your hands busy, and he'll prosper those things that you put your hands to. So my thing is that it was letting people see honestly what I saw when I first came to UTC and saw Black people just moving in different directions, and they were excellent at it. And they were succeeding at it. And it was just like, man, we are more than what they just want to portray us to be. There is so much depth to who we are just period. So Black excellence for me is personal because I didn't grow up with an understanding of it. And right now, I want to make sure that my nieces and nephews, they understand that Black excellence is more than just what's put in front of you. It's whatever you want to do. You can be Black and you can be excellent at whatever it is that you want to do. So did I even answer the question?
Yes, but yes, you did. I mean, you went a little bit more like in depth, but I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
I love what you said.
Yes. It's funny that, like you said, in 98, that's when you moved to Chattanooga. 98 is when my mom moved us away from Chattanooga. We moved to Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I went from the quiet girl that grew up around all Black people to an area where it was predominantly white. I went to a white school. So that was like a culture shock for me. So on top of me being pulled away from my people, I had Erica Roberts, who kind of slowly pulled me back through being a creative in poetry, because that's what I like to do. And it was hard for me to connect with someone. So when I got pulled back, and then it was into this creative, and then y'all came about with the, BEC and the different type of meetings and things that y'all have. And I was just like, oh my God, it made me appreciate, the Black excellence that was around. And I saw witness to everybody had different jobs or careers, but everybody was still mingling and everybody was still together. And I was like, this is what this is all about. So I grew to appreciate it more.
Yeah, after the first year, I'll never forget one of the videos to me that was special was something so simple, and it was the swag surf.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the video, and I'm telling the guy, Keenan, who was the DJ, I'm like, Keenan, do you realize you had media, doctors, engineers, regular working people, musicians, drug dealers, let's just be real, that was in the building. Everybody, but at one time, at that very second, it didn't matter where you were on the totem pole. We were Black at that one moment, and we was being Black together, swag surfing.
Right.
And I was looking at everybody. It didn't matter your status. It didn't matter who you thought you were or who you think you are or whatever. But at that moment, we were Black. And we was enjoying being Black. And that to me was like one of the best moments that I can ever remember.
Wow.
That speaks to the duality that Karen has talked about before on the show. Like, we can be, ratchet at the moment if we feel like it, but we can also be educated and excellent in our skin.
Right.
And also, what you said about the limitations, I think that Black people have this thing, and it may not be a conscious thing, it may be a subconscious thing, that we put limitations on what we can do. Right. So it may not be something that we're saying to ourselves, like out loud, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. But we don't do certain things. We operate and move in limitations that people of other races, I feel like, don't do.
Yeah, it's a spirit. I truly believe it's a spirit of lack, a spirit of poverty, the spirit of the slavery mentality.
Yeah.
I think those are things that, unfortunately, we talk about the crab mentality. That was kind of pushed into this in slavery, the light skin gets to go in here, the dark skin gets to go out here, that stuff was created in us. So it doesn't surprise me when you still see it, because even though people die, spirits don't. And those spirits, they move through it. through people. And so it doesn't surprise me when you still have crab mentality or slave mentality, or people are still trying to fight to get past those things or whatever, because it's a spirit, and it's one that I feel like we have to come together and come against as a whole before it has to be acknowledged too. People got to know that they're dealing with it. That's a whole nother story. I could be here all day.
Well, she gave us a beautiful explanation of what Black excellence meant to her. What about you guys?
So again, Black excellence to me is highlighting that there are so many different people that are able to step outside of the limitations that was supposedly placed on us. And I think it's amazing that we take all of that in. So, yeah.
I was just going to say that it's interesting that you brought that up. We are a very nuanced people. There are many, many nuances to us. And of course, we're not a monolith. And so what we have is we have a people who, although we are Black, have lived in a society that everything that we do is set up based on a white gaze. So even if it's how we show up, even professionalism, there are structures and institutions that we function within. And even how we are called to function in those institutions are set up based on a white gaze. And so we operate oftentimes out of that same lens of judgment when it comes to looking at internally and at ourselves. So that is something that we have to get away from, that we see the next generation getting away from. Even in how we speak, I don't code switch. I do not code switch. So the way I talk to you all in a setting is the same way I function in the professional environment. I do EDI work. So for me, it's important to be my authentic self in every environment. And that's something that we have to get comfortable with. I love how you say, there's things that have been indoctrinated and there are spirits and it has transferred intergenerationally. That also speaks to the epigenetic changes that we've had. We have had such trauma and endured so many things that it has changed our DNA. This is the science. And so when you look at it, even when you see in our community that, Black women don't work out, they don't. Yes, we do. But because we come from a history of rape and some of the other things, there's a psychological change, an epigenetic change in our body that something says, if I put on all this weight, then somebody may not be attracted to me and may not cause harm. So even in those things, we surround ourselves and we protect ourselves. It's not something that's thought out. And so you're right. There are changes that come from us historically. And now we have the opportunity to say, it doesn't matter how I show up. I'm going to be fly in this body.
Save lives. I have to say
they do. Yeah, they do. Yep. I'm going to be fly no matter what. I'm going to be amazing no matter what. I'm going to be excellent no matter what. And so we have the ability to show up in our authenticity and just be excellent in whatever that looks like for us.
I have to say, let me tell you something. I love to hear KK talk, because that girl, she be throwing, what you say, the power words? She be throwing power words on us. But I agree with you, KK. When I'm a banker. When I first started, I had code switch was my thing. Code switch was my thing. But I was still being disrespected and things were still being said to me and I was called names. So I don't code switch anymore. My regular customers, my affluent, my high dollar customers, when they come in, they come ask for me because I'm my authentic self. I'm in here. Come on in here, baby. What we talking about today? All right, well, let me get you your CD rates. Or what you want to do with this? I'm my normal self, and they love it. So, yeah, I agree with you on everything you said. You hit the nail on the head. Seriously.
I think people actually appreciate the authenticity, though.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love everything that y'all said. I think also included in Black excellence is like celebrating the work that we do and the contributions to society, because we've been doing big things. We just, in the past, like other people were taking credit for it, which probably still happens a lot today. But that also, I think, is included in Black excellence. Now, as I was doing research, I'm looking and I'm seeing some Black people don't feel good about that term. Are you a fan of the term Black excellence, or do you think that it creates some kind of inferiority complex?
I'm iffy with it. I don't think it should. I was for it. I liked the term for a while, but I don't like, I'm trying to look for what I'm trying to say without saying.
Do you feel like maybe it yes, Black excellence, it started out powerful, but does it put like the limitation of Black excellence and that's all that we can be is just Black excellence? When can we graduate to just excellence?
Excellence. That was my point without saying, or whatever. Because in my line of work right now, I have to be very careful with how I'm saying that. So, but at the same time, though, for one of the reasons why BEC was created, I remember being on Facebook, and I'm a creator. Let me go ahead and say that. Like, I'm a creator. I'm going to let y'all even get even a little deeper. But I have a thing, like, this is me, how I deal with hurt. Every time I came out of a bad relationship or whatever, I created something. My very first relationship that was hurtful, whatever, I became a playwright. I wrote plays, started doing them everywhere, they were doing them at the junior high, that's what they called it back then. They were doing it at the high school. It became like a huge thing. They did a whole write-up. It was everything. But I put all my love and energy into writing, and then met somebody else. After that breakup, I created this thing called HMNI. It was Hello, My Name Is. It was a singles group. And I would create events for singles to go to and meet up with each other. We would have spades tournaments. We would have games. I did all kind of stuff. Then I got in another relationship. Hurt came. And guess what came after that? CBE, Chattanooga Business Elite. So when dealing with something, I'm a solution-based person. I don't like to sit there and talk about it all the time, because it's not going to solve anything. Like, let me cry it out a couple times, and after I cry it out, I got to get moving. I got to do something. So I said all that to say, when Chattanooga Business Elite, I was on Facebook because I was having, emotional, and I saw where Keenan Daniels was winning. If you remember, he was winning Best of the Best every year. Like, every year. And everybody kept saying, what is Best of the Best? How are you winning this? And he would tell them, it's the Chattanooga Times Free Press. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. But anyway, he was saying it was their award show. Well, a lot of Black businesses and owners and all them were like, we don't know nothing about it. We're not getting included. We're not. So me and my creative mind is like, well, if we not, then let's make our own. Let's do our own. We can celebrate ourselves. And that, when I looked up, because I'm a studier too, so when I started studying how the Image Awards, the NAACP Awards, all those awards, they created their own platform to be acknowledged or celebrated. So I hate the term sometimes, Black. I wish we could just say the Excellence Awards, because that Black is not the only thing that defines who we are. But unfortunately, in the world that we still live in, that is not completely where we needed to be, I need you to know it's Black excellence. Do I feel like we're all excellent? Yes, I do. But still in this day and time, I still need you to know we are all Black excellence, because we Black.
Right. And that's something that's not going to change. Right. And I'm glad that you did, give an explanation as to how, the awards came about. But it's unfortunate that we do have to have titles like Black excellence. So I understand where we're on the fence of the term, but it's needed, because for a little small creative like myself, it was a reminder that me being a creative is important and to be acknowledged. Even if it was just something small, it was just more people saying, who is Mona Lisa the poet? Who is Talisa? So it was, I think it's great.
It's hard, because y'all, let's be real. We're going to talk about Blacktivities. Black people are not an easy group of people to
No,
Deal with it.
I know. I sat and watched it all. Like some of the people didn't agree, or they like to question things, and that just comes with the territory. No matter if it's an award show or if somebody is doing great, you always gonna have somebody question it. But
And that is like perfectly fine. And that, I mean, because I guess y'all learned with it. That is so fine with me. Because especially if you put yourself out there, people are going to have opinions, thoughts, whatever. And that is perfectly fine with me. But I think just when people come against you without ever having a conversation with me, without ever talking to me, to know my heart, to know that ain't even won't you come and ask me how this was set up? Won't you come and ask me why? Let's just get on here and just, it's just always, but at the same time, I welcome it too.
Yeah, because when you welcome it, the way y'all handle it, y'all was so professional about it. But when you welcome it, that's more people inquiring about it and making more people say, you know what? Well, let me try and see what I can do. And then they're in their own little territory of trying to make themselves known. So that's more excellence because they're trying to push their excellence and show people what they're all about. So all I have to say to you is thank you for that. I mean, I feel like it's an amazing, thing where it can shed positivity. And y'all just keep doing what y'all doing. You guys work together so well, amazing team. So I just say congratulations, and y'all keep doing what y'all doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Get nominated again.
Yes, and as y'all work with, how long y'all been doing this?
Shoot, Shannon, when we started this, it's been a couple years now.
Yeah,
and everybody is not in what city?
So, I'm just here, and we're not too far away. Shannon and KK. KK, tell them where you at.
I'm in Denver.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Uh-huh. And
I'm in Georgia, but
yeah. And then I'm in Ringo, so I'm not too far. I still be tipping over in the chat. You know what I mean? I'm not too far from the state line. But I mean, there
are a lot of Black people in Denver, Colorado.
Girl, I get that question. I have gotten that so many times, and I'm like, it's Black folks here, and the Black people that are here. The community is to me is that of excellence for the most part. Mm-hmm. Like we got our stuff that all Black people have, but there are a lot of people who are effective. So it's like you can be Black here or you can be Black here and do dope stuff. Right. We are creatives too. And what's kept me here, like you said, is the creativity. Personally, I run in the poetry and arts community myself. I also run in the activist community. And a lot of our poets competed in slam, things like that. And we have had one of the largest MLK celebrations in the nation. Our Juneteenth was one of the largest in the nation, not because we just got a whole bunch of Black folks, but because the Black folks who are here are involved. Right. So that's the difference. It's not about the number, it's about the involvement. So that's what you see a lot more of here.
And that works well when you got Black people who work together. I mean, it works well. I have went back and forth on if the BEC Awards, if we should take off best, because I think that's what mentally messes up with people's heads is the best part of it. Because they're like, how are you going to say this person is the best caterer or the best this or the best there? Because they can't really.
I don't care. We're the best. Shannon work hard. Shannon do editing. You ain't taking that from us, honey.
I know. But it's about your people. If your people think you are the best, then they're going to nominate or they're going to vote for you to be the best. But I went back and forth on that because it seems like that's the word that hangs up in most people's head is how are you going to say that they're the best or whatever. So, but
I'll take the best. I'll take podcast of the year. I'll take all the accolades, whatever it is.
I want to say something to that, though, because this initially, I was listening to why are we calling it Black excellence? Can it just be excellence? When you think about a person's resume in our community that can do something and they're doing the same thing parallel to a white person, we identify it as Black excellence because we know that that's the reason they have been isolated or siloed from whatever recognition there is. So So if you look at Meryl Streep and Viola Davis, very similar in their ability and their accolades. But who do you see as being top tier? We know Viola is Black excellence, but the world is just now starting to identify this queen, this goddess, Black woman as such.
And Meryl Streep, and she was not just snotting the way Viola Davis be doing, because that baby, she be bringing that snot.
When I saw that, I was like, that woman is acting.
Yeah, she is. She is putting it all in there. Yeah, she is.
She is. But that's why I wanted to say that. And then I like the best of the best because it's subjective. We have a magazine here that covers community, and it's not a Black magazine per se, but they will have voted 5280 best, Mexican restaurant, best this, best that. And it's subjective to the people who they reached out to. So they said it was the best. This is our target audience, and this is how they voted. So I would keep it because you know who your audience is, and whoever your audience voted for, that's the best. That's your target market. So I would just leave it just based on that.
Plus, I don't feel like changing all the marketing on this.
Well, if it's okay with you, Shannon, I'm going to go ahead and I want to share with someone on social media who is a very talented creator from Chattanooga. He goes by @Toke the Poet, phenomenal piano player. He was asked, what does Black excellence mean to him? And he said it is embodying and bringing in fruition of life or an accomplishment that our ancestors wouldn't think was possible or couldn't have ever dreamed. So I just want to share that. Shout out to him, Vale Prather.
He's a nominee too. I remember that name.
Yes. Yes.
So he spoke to the whole future things that were hoped to be accomplished.
Right. All right. Well, if I can go ahead, I want to share my little piece.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this one here, it is titled Black Excellence, and here it goes. And I tell you, I want to be a shining star so freaking bad. My creative juices be flowing like a leaf in the Nile. And I'd be damned if you succeed with any negativity. Just taste this. It's better to admit if you're smitten with the versatility in my style. Come on, just try it. My journey, often unplanned and experienced, flowed about, giving a glimpse of my thoughts. So merry, so high, so inspiring. Just relax. Inspiration motivating you to understand. The compiled, wild, floating upon causing a smirk. It's okay, baby. You hear a slight ding and a king notify you're now free to move about the cabin. I snap back to as my bodies drift down to the ground, my words touching those who feel my expressions through my complexion. This is where I can get high off my own supply. My Black excellence. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is time for us to call the culture to act. Whoever wants to start, what's your call to action for the culture?
I'll go ahead and say my call to action is I want my people to continue to be the creatives, continue to share who you are and support other people. When it comes to Black excellence, even though, like we stated before, we don't want it to, what's the word I'm looking for? We want it to be excellence. We want to be normal. We want to fit in. But unfortunately, we've been fighting for 400 something years on having, the same equal rights. It just comes with the territory. So we need to just hold each other up and support each other and just share what talent that we do have.
KK?
My call to action is a reminder to us as a community that there is pre-programming within us. And so it is imperative that we be cognizant of the lens that we are using when we look at ourselves and give grace. And then in addition to giving grace, understand that excellence can come in many, many forms, and it can be subjective in a moment. Just be aware of if you're feeling any judgment, if you're feeling contradictory thoughts regarding whatever you're witnessing, ask yourself what lens you are viewing that. Is it through your lens as a Black person, or is it through a white gaze? Is it through that lens that says nothing that we're doing or that we do is acceptable or up to par with a white standard? So be aware and respond accordingly. But we need to check ourselves and take a look within first.
I like that. Shay, do you want to go next?
Mine is probably not so eloquent as theirs. But I know this may sound, I guess, just being in the business, I've noticed one thing, and it's overthinking. I think for Black people, overthinking has kind of messed us up with being able to collaborate or trust people. We have an issue with working with one another because everybody always thinks everybody has a motive. I'm not saying that nobody does, but I think because our trust issues from way back then, that's another spirit I believe in or whatever, has still affected us now on how we do each other, the overthinking. And so I think what I've asked God to help me with is to have a movement of leading with love. Whether if I can just work, I can work with you and I can collaborate with you and I don't have to trust you. I think a lot of people think that trust is needed. That's actually, for me, that's not true. I trust God. I don't have to trust you. He's going to show me what I need to see. So when I trust him to have my rear guard, he's got my back. I don't have to trust you. And that helps me to be able to work with you. I don't have to overthink it. I don't have to wonder what your motives are. I don't have to wonder, should I be able to do this, or are you going to take this from him? God's going to show me. And I'm going to find out, and I can lead with love to work with you and to support you and encourage you in whatever it is that you're doing. And hopefully you can do the same with me, because there's no jealousy, envy, hate, or anything connected with it, because I'm leading with love and I took away all the trust on it. And I never was called to trust any of y'all. I've only been called to trust one person. And when I trust him, I don't have to worry about trusting y'all.
Amen.
You better preach.
Amen.
You better preach. Come on now.
We've been shaking our heads, yes, amen.
You better preach.
I'm calling the culture to keep being excellent. We don't have to be a stereotype. We don't have to fit into a mold of what people say we should be. But we just need to keep telling people to kiss our Black panache. Right? That's why they're scared of us, because we can be anything we want to be. And when we show up, we show out.
Right.
And they're scared of that. So Black excellence is for us. It's kind of like saying, Black queen or Black king. Like, you can be mad at that, but I'm telling you what I am. It's for us. So I'm also calling the culture to click the little plus in Apple Podcasts or the subscribe button in YouTube. We love to read your reviews and those 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts. They help us. So please, if you love the show, rate and review us. Also, don't forget to grab your Blacktivity in the pop-up shop. And thank you so much, Shay, for being here. Where can people reach you or find out more about your awards?
Yes. Well, Facebook, Chattanooga Business Elite. Our website is chatbusinesselite.com. Or you can follow Shay McCowan on Facebook. Instagram is chat_business elite. That's Instagram, yeah. And Chattanooga Business Elite on TikTok. We're getting ready for the Black Business Month celebration, which we'll be doing things the whole month of Black Business Month in August. Then the awards will be February 1st, and it's going to be a big one. One of the people we'll be celebrating is Usher's mom. So
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing, y'all. They did a thing for Usher. That was so dope. That was so dope.
Yeah.
Now, I seen a couple comments. They was like complaining when BET did the Usher thing, and they was like they should have pulled the people from chat.
I have to say, our tribute was really dope, though.
Yeah.
It really was.
I ain't throwing shade at Tiana Taylor. That girl bad.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And another quick question, and we're gonna let you go. Pink party. Is that gonna be another pink party?
Yes, September the 14th.
I'm going.
Yes, I hadn't put the date out there. Y'all got it first. I wasn't putting it out there till the week after I come back from the beach or whatever. But
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
it is.
All right. Well, thank you again for taking the time.
Thank y'all.
out.
Appreciate
We
it. Sorry, I was late. I hope.
That's fine. It's Blacktivities, baby. CP.
I will also put links to all those things that Shay just mentioned in the show notes. So we'll see y'all in February. This is our last episode of the season, so we'll be back in February. If you're ever wondering when Blacktivities is coming back, just think to yourself, what are the blackest months of the year?
Obviously.
Right there in February and June. So until then, you can catch us on IG. And Lisa?
King and queens keep doing big things. Let's go.